say, I think when you come from an organization that has a very sort of standard way of producing information and what have you, there's a reluctance to say, oh, let's just have, Joe blog today, or let's set up someone on Twitter and they can just tweet. I think you've got to get over that because this is a different world and it will do stuff for you. So if you're not blogging and you're not tweeting, I would recommend you find someone in the organization who loves this stuff, who's just kind of interested in it, and let them go.
Yeah, I think any Boston arts organization that isn't at least looking at these things is making a really big mistake. But it's important that you recognize that you need to figure out which ones of these things are worth the time. You could spend all day doing, you could spend all day self-entering data on websites, you could spend all day tweeting, whatever. I mean, I noticed that Brian had, Gather and Eons up in his, or one of the two, and I have spent some time in there, and I don't think there's anybody there right now. Not to say that they're not going to be there at some point, at least for the organizations that I'm working for, but you have to figure out which pieces of it make sense for you to devote time to, but I assure you some of them do.
Yeah, I guess I would say, again, coming from a place like the Gardner, is that surprising your audiences is not a bad thing, and sort of pushing the envelope maybe a little bit, both internally and externally, in terms of what you're doing, and in terms of where you're doing it and where you're talking about it. When we launched our podcast, Boing Boing, which Brian had up, just a great blog on technology and sort of cool new things that are happening, had a story that the lead was, in a surprising move today, the Gardner launched a podcast. That was like the greatest thing that we could have hoped for, but we did take a big risk, Some people would say we took a bigger risk than others at the institution, but it was, putting content online. It was something new for us. For after hours doing street teams, we had these little business cards, and Jeff Edgers at the Globe wrote an front page news article on our street teams. Shocked the hell out of me that he wanted to write an article front page on the back.
Shocked the hell out of one of us.
Well, yeah. But he did, go figure, and literally the podcast was more of an example of from our director, on down, or really from our marketing associate, 23-year-old Charlotte on up, sort of pushing the museum to take these recordings that were gathering dust on the shelf and do something using technology to get the word out about our concert program. They've been downloaded in 86 countries around the world, and it's become institutionally an example of, well, remember sort of how nervous we all were about launching this podcast, and look at how successful it's been. All right, well, maybe we could throw up a video of the nasturtium installation, or maybe we could talk about having a video of the installation of an exhibition, or that kind of thing. Just sort of take a leap of faith and sort of see what you can do. In terms of the street team, that was literally 3 of us sitting around thinking, well, where are people who we want to come to the after hours events? They're at Fenway Park, they're at Avalon, they're at House of Blues, or wherever they are. So what if we just did these little business cards and we had street teams sort of handing them out there? Okay, great. Like, it didn't really cost. Excuse me. Gosh, didn't really cost us that much. Apart from printing, and we tried it out, and it's worked really well, and got us the front page story in the Globe. So don't be afraid to think outside the box and maybe try something that you wouldn't try. Surprise can be a good thing.
My challenge would be to have an idea a week. I think in sort of the spirit of lighting lots of fires, I would just challenge yourself to think of a new idea every week to engage your audience. And social media, at its heart, is about participating. It's about people talking to people. I think if you try once a week to figure out a new way to engage your audience, and see what's working, see what's not, learn from it. The important thing, I think, in learning Because the metrics of social media are different than traditional media. It's no longer, I wouldn't look at site traffic, click-throughs, anything like that. Think about advocacy. There are studies out there that actually show, at least in sort of the business world, that online advocacy has like an almost exact correlation with sales. I would be surprised if it's not the same for for whatever your organization's charge is. So I would challenge you to an idea a week.
Excellent. And I would just say that I think really knowing your audience would be my challenge. Not everyone talks about listening, but I mean really hear what they're saying, because they will tell you if you're not doing well. They will give you ideas. They will put their effort in if you give them an opportunity. And I think organizations, particularly in the arts and culture world, particularly with creative directors and all of that, really are convinced that they know more than their audience. And that may be true, or that may have been true in the past, but it doesn't matter if you're smarter than your audience.